Hello and welcome to an episode of Celts in the Hut. My name is Stephen Hunter. I'm here to give you my opinion of the week so far and what's probably going to happen the rest of the week. So if you're with me, just have a wee listen, like and subscribe. Just give us a wee comment if you want as well. If you don't really, feel like my opinion is up to your standard of opinion. So yeah, let's get right in about it. So this week has started off very, very well. We have signed Mika Bauer, a centre midfielder who can basically cover a lot of areas in that position. He can cover the whole blade of grass, basically, in that midfield position. For me, I personally think he's just a Rio Hatate replacement, but I think he might be a little bit better than Rio Hatate. Then we have the signing of Hasim Hassan as well. Very, very good signing. A lot of prospect in that player. And I think it'll be very, very exciting to see him play for Celtic. I can't wait personally to see him put on the hoops and maybe play against Dundee United. But again, we have to wait and see. We need to kind of let these players drift in and out, that kind of thing. So a very, very good week of transfers going forward. Now, there is the minor thing of Arnie Engels going to West Ham, and he has went for like 22 million plus add-ons. So it's supposed to be the highest transfer that Celtic have had. For me, I think the highest transfer that we've had is obviously Matt O'Reilly going to Brighton. I thought that was a very, very good transfer. But, obviously that didn't work out for him. I'd be loving if he came back to Celtic, to be honest. But again, we can't go back to the past. We need to look to the future. So, that's what I think of the week so far. I think it's been very, very good. But when Arnie Engels does leave, we will need to find a replacement for that Champions League spot. So we need to play a wild card, basically. And, we just need to make sure that it's a good player. We might need to spend money on a defensive midfielder. We might need to spend more money on a left back. We might need to spend more money on a goalkeeper, and maybe another striker. But I think those positions might get analysed in January. There's a whole plethora of players out there that Celtic can sign. But we just need to kind of look at who's willing to come to Celtic. And I think so far, Celtic have done very, very well when getting these players in, and giving them the dream of playing for Celtic, playing in paradise, playing in front of 60,000 fans, having Champions League nights, stuff like that, even Europa League nights if we don't get into the Champions League, because I'm not being that big-headed, because I've done it against Almaty and we got fucked out. So at the end of the day, you need to be wise, you need to be vigilant going into these ties, but I think with the signings that we've gave ourselves, I think we're in a better position than we were. So yeah, well done on that front. I'll give credit where it is due to the board. They've actually put their hands in their pockets and come out with money and went, look, listen, this is what we're going to do. I get it. You're dealing with players here. You're dealing with human beings. You want them to be comfortable when they come to Celtic. And I think that's what we've done. I don't think we've promised anything that we can't provide. But just for them knowing that they're at a big club is where we should stand on that front, really. So yeah, well done. So coming forward, we're talking about obviously what's going to happen against Dundee United in the League Cup. For me, I'm not too fussed about the League Cup. Okay, I understand everybody goes on about winning treble after treble after treble after treble, but I feel like if you do that, then you're not making yourself ready enough for other games incoming. So for me, against Dundee United, I generally think that we should maybe rest a few of our big money signings, because you don't want to play them. Then you don't want them getting injured and being crocked for the rest of the season, because let's be honest. I mean, in a league game or in a League Cup game, it's a cup. You know what I mean? Players can get injured in that cup, and then they're out for the whole, remaining games of the season. So yeah, I would change things up. I would maybe start like Osman, Duran up front. Forrest. The midfield, maybe start some of the youngsters. You've got Ricardo, you've got Hatton, bring them back into the system. And you've also got Donovan as well and Murray. I just think you need to kind of give these players running time, because I think the fans now have kind of just relaxed a little bit, and now we're at this level where we're like, well, do you know what? We feel like we're not obviously amazingly ready for the Champions League, but at least we're kind of at that point where we feel a little bit confident if we qualify, and if we don't qualify, oh my God. It's I don't know what's going to happen, because the board have actually went out and spent money this time, getting us ready for this Champions League qualifier. So, it's one of those things where it could go wrong, but I'm not being overly confident. I'm just saying that we need to go out there and try and win that game, like by a lot, to just put the nerves behind us, to make us feel like it's just an easy route into the Champions League again, because that's all Celtic fans want. We just want to be at least decent in Europe, not brilliant, not amazing, just decent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, decent is a fair word to say. So yeah, against Dundee United again, I think we should just start our fringe players. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should go out there and just start playing our players that we've, like our players like Hoy. I would maybe leave him out. I would play Duran through the centre, see what he can do through the centre, and just obviously start with your wingers. I'd maybe bring on Hassan for like half time or something like that, but I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start him at all, because again, you want that player to flourish. You want him to feel important, and if you're bringing him on against a Dundee United League Cup game, then, and I'm not saying anything bad against Dundee United, because Dundee United are a good side. Let's just get that straight. They are a good side. Jim Goodwin has got them very, very, very balanced, and I'd actually say that I like the look of Dundee United and the way they play. I liked the way Motherwell played the other day. That's the first time I've actually watched a Motherwell game and thought to myself, like, God damn it, like, Motherwell were actually all over Helsinki. Like, Helsinki didn't know where to stand. Then obviously you had Hibs getting through, which was a good result in Europe as well. So, well done to those teams that got through. But yeah, there's a lot of decent sides in the Scottish Premier League, I would say, and a lot of good, decent managers that are hard to beat. So, I'm not saying anything disrespectful to Dundee United. I just think with the strength of Celtic, we'll probably win that game with a few reserve players in, But what I'm saying is I would just keep the expensive players to the Champions League qualifier. That's all I'm saying. Then we come on to the fact of Martin O'Neill is back. He's back. He's doing interviews again. Will he be in the dugout? I don't know. We'll see. I think Sean Maloney deserves another chance to stand there and basically say, look, don't worry, Martin. Sorry, the team's got this. The coaching team's got this. So you can just step back in and just be the man that you are, be the legend that you are, be the dynasty that you are. I feel like it's a breath of fresh air seeing Martin back. I just hope he's good, and going for an operation, or a procedure like he's went through. Still don't know what it is. So like I said, he's a private man, so you can't really get anything out of him. Unless it's like a joke or something like that. But it's good to see him back doing interviews and just kind of getting to the rhythm of it again. You know what I mean? He is probably going to have more time out, guys. So let's just say that there. That's no go down that route. He's saying he's too old. He's this. He's that. We know he's too old. We know he's got a bus pass. It's one of these things where you just need to accept it, because who else are you going to get in? Who else? Who else with the prestige that Martin O'Neill has? Who else are you gonna get in? Come on, have a word. Have a word with yourselves. So yeah, we go from there. Martin O'Neill was back, and we have to talk about the board. And this is just between me and you, right? Do you think the board are actually getting a grip? To me, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think they are generally opening that biscuit tin of money, and they're saying to themselves, right, do you know what? We've saved up enough money to go to Disneyland Paris. But why should we go to Disneyland Paris when we can go to Disneyland Florida? You know what I mean? Like, so I think this is what they've done. I think they've saved up a good amount of money because they knew a rebuild was coming. And I think they're just thinking to themselves, well, what's the point in getting in a bunch of duffer players when we can get in some real quality, and it's going to do us for the next 3 years? And what I'll say is it's very, very good business, because at the end of the day, the players aren't very, very old. You know, they're not very, very old in age. So there's still a massive sell-on in that front with those players, because if you think about it, if Hoy ends up like the top scorer in the Premier League and he scores some goals in the Champions League, he'll at least Celtic will be at least getting like 3 figures back for that. You know, like you could actually say that he would maybe go for 35. If Hasim Hassan starts playing like Mohamed Salah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting too much pressure on the boy, obviously, but you know, with the price tag that's came on him, again, that's like trebled as well, you know, and then you've got Mika Bauer as well. Like, you've seen what we've done with Matt O'Reilly, you've seen what we've done with Arnie Engels. Just think about the price tag on Mika Bauer, because again, you need to spend that money to make money. And we've done that with Arnie Engels, and we've got at least 2 figures back, or close to it. You know, so we've made a profit again. And that's what I'll say about the board, that they're very, very good at making money for themselves. And if we qualify for this Champions League, that's another 40 million. So yeah, to me, I think they've put money in the right areas. They've shown us that they're ready to go out there and sign quality players that have played well, you know, with their other clubs, and we've went in and negotiated with them. We've made sure they're comfortable, we've made sure that the club's comfortable. Okay, I understand Nicholson's statement came out and he said it was difficult to deal with agents. Sometimes I just feel he tells the truth too much. And for me personally, I mean, even I thought I was shouting down here, shouting for transfers to happen straight away, and they weren't. So, you know, I'm just kind of sitting here now, thinking to myself that this is good. This is a good thing. This is a good step forward, and it's bringing the fans back, and it's making us kind of believe again. It's bringing the excitement back again. Because generally, I feel watching that game against Kilmarnock, where Hoy scored a hat-trick without even breathing heavy, it was magic. It was great to see that. It was good to see just a striker just being a striker and just scoring goals and loving it. And he's got that kind of personality that just brings everybody in. And, you know, to me, he's already a fan's favourite for me. You know, even when I seen him play against Dundee, he was great. You know, his movement, his touches, they were great. And he's just going to be that good. He's just going to be a good player. Camilo Duran as well, just fantastic. And it's just these kind of players that Celtic need. So, yeah, that's it for me. I'm definitely on the front that the board have actually been listening to the fans. Or maybe they've just went, listen, we need the fans back on our side, so let's give them what they want. You know, that stopped the diminishing of the squad that was Ange and Brendan's, because obviously they've had to deal with all that. They've had to deal with Brendan Rodgers leaving, And yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. But then they also had to deal with Dermot Desmond's statement as well. Dermot Desmond, again, like we say, is not the owner of the club. He's just a high majority shareholder. And that is it. So we need to kind of think to ourselves like maybe the board have finally went, right, let's go and do our jobs. That's all we can say about that, you know. So yeah, hopefully we make like this going forward as the sign of great things to come at Celtic Park. Me especially, I would love to see gigs at Celtic Park. I would love to see say like rock bands like AC/DC or like, you know, System of a Down or something like that. Greta Van Fleet, all that kind of stuff. Just gigs. You can get stuff like that at Celtic Park. It just brings in revenue. And yeah, I just think it's going to be, maybe this is the step forward for just rejuvenating Celtic and just making it a bit more exciting again. Because really, I mean, that board kind of sucked the life out of me a little bit. But now I feel like they're bringing me back to maybe suck the life out of me again. But, you know, I'm still on the front of obviously not purchasing any merchandise. That's just me, because I'm a skinflint, and I'm cheap as fuck. So listen, if you do feel like you want to go and get the Celtic top, it is a very, very nice top. I'll be honest, we've done quite well with the design of the Celtic top as well. So I think we got onto that, and plus the away top is just, it's just sublime. You know what I mean? Against Kilmarnock, it made me want to go out and buy it, to be honest. But I'm staying fast, and I'm maybe going to get it in the sheep next season. I'll wait until somebody else buys it, and then I'll buy it after them. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, that is me done for today. If you're watching the game, this is a beautiful Friday night in the hut. I've had a little Jack Daniels just to, you know, just to infuse my excitement for this weekend. You know, listen, if you're doing something, then be safe about it. You know what I mean? If you're having a drink with your mates, if you're celebrating a party, if you're celebrating somebody's wedding, then that's great. You know, just be safe to each other, and you know, don't let all the Rangers anger get to you. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, all you need to do is laugh. You just laugh. You know, it's basically Rangers is becoming the Hearts B team. That's what that is, you know, because obviously they didn't do well against that Wi-Fi password. And I'm sorry to say that, it's just because I can't say their name because I am dyslexic and illiterate. So, yeah, there you go. If you're doing something means everything, guys. Be safe to each other, love each other, and have a great and fantastic weekend, all right? And remember, I love you. Okay, and thank you for whoever's watching. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, blah blah blah. I'll see you later. Cheerio, bye.